Welcome back to Studio 10. When it comes to serious medical issues, many Australian men ignore them or put up with them in silence.
Today's story is a good example of why men should go to the doctor as soon as they notice something different. But first, let's welcome our very own clinical psychologist, Jo Lambert.
Welcome, Jo. What can you tell us about today's story that we're going to hear?
Well, as you say, men tend not to go to the doctor when they notice symptoms, and today we're going to meet a man who's quite like that, but also now not only is he struggling with MS, but struggling to be the father and husband that he wants to be.
So before we meet Aaron and Sam, his wife, let's listen to some of their story. Meet the O'Hallorans. There's Aaron, Sam and Jake. And together they make up a typical Aussie family. But right now, the lives of these people are anything but. These three are locked in a very personal war, and the stakes are high. It was over 20 years ago when Aaron first started to experience strange feelings in his body. And over the years, the sensations continued to get worse.
He was collapsing, he was falling into walls, he was not feeling glasses in his hands and he'd be dropping them.
Like many Aussie men, Aaron chose not to see a doctor, instead blaming old sporting injuries or simply ignoring the symptoms. But finally, after 2 decades, Aaron started to look for reasons why this was happening. And after many tests and consultations, the diagnosis was finally delivered. Aaron was suffering from MS.
In layman's terms, I guess, it causes blockages, so the message doesn't get through. And so that's what would happen with Aaron. He'd have a lesion or a white matter on the nerve, and that stops the message getting through.
It affects more than 23,000 people across the country. But if caught early, in most patients, progression can be slowed. But for Aaron, it was too late to make much of a difference. It's forced him to sell his business and use a wheelchair more often. But for this loving father and husband, that is a distant second to the pain and guilt he feels for those around him who have to deal with his illness.
I don't feel right about having hurt people through this. I feel like she deserves a lot better than this. And so does my son.
He's my husband, he's my love, we've been together for so long now. We've really had some challenges in life. It's not been easy, but this is really hard. This is the hardest thing we've ever faced.
And we will meet Aaron and Sam right after the break. Stay with us here on Studio 10.
Welcome back. Aaron and Sam, welcome to the show. It's good to have you with us today. Aaron, take us back to when you first had the symptoms, the tingling in your fingers.
Many years ago, but I kept writing it off for being overcompensating for another accident that I'd had, and thought, OK, this is why I'm tingling. Keep moving on until the one day I didn't keep moving on.
And that was what was frightening, wasn't it, guys? That you had these symptoms, and being a typical bloke, you're not going to say, oh, excuse me, guys, I'm just going to pop to the doctor, I'm getting a bit of tingling here, so you keep going. But then what was frightening is you had some surgery, is that right, in 2012? Yeah. What was that about?
Aaron had some scans done and they found some spinal damage. So they decided that that was what was causing the tingling on his left-hand side. He'd started to get right-hand side tingling at that stage as well. And the operation was actually for the right-hand side. So it would have been affecting right-hand side. It wouldn't have had anything to do with the tingling that he was experiencing at the time.
So it was actually unnecessary surgery?
Very unnecessary. It actually exacerbated the MS.
Oh, see, now that's frightening, isn't it? And then so some months later, you get the diagnosis that it was MS. Did you have any idea that might be what's going on? No. And how was that when you finally found out?
Shell-shocked, very shell-shocked. It was just before Aaron's 40th birthday, so we're very young still. And both had the image of MS that everybody has in their heads, of young people in nursing homes and not being able to look after themselves. So very scary.
And did they tell you what the prognosis would be?
At the time, we didn't know what type of MS, so there are so many different types of MS, and being so early in diagnosis, they needed to wait to see what happened to give proof of what type of MS Aaron has. We now know it's progressive, it just hasn't stopped. It's just on a steam train.
Is there nothing that can be done?
There are no current drugs on the market that are for progressive MS. There is nothing out there for his type of MS at the moment.
So, Aaron, how, as a family, do you deal with that? We were talking earlier about your lovely son, Jake, who's a teenager. How do you deal with it?
Not very well. Not very well. I expect myself to be able to do a lot more for my family. And I think they should expect to get a lot more from me.
Aren't there some breakthrough treatments happening in, is it Russia?
That's right. It's in a few different countries around the world, and there are trials here in Sydney, but it is a treatment that we are aiming for in Russia.
And you're happy to get there?
We have a position booked. We are scheduled to go to Russia in September.
But you need some help, don't you? You need some fundraising. So just tell us a little bit about that.
So we've started a website, aaronattacksms.com. We're selling T-shirts, and I'm putting out a 1,000 T-shirt challenge this morning. So if we can sell 1,000 T-shirts at $25 a shirt, every cent will go to us. So that's a really great challenge. We have some special events that we have online. We have a Facebook community group with nearly 500 people following us and watching our story. And, yeah, we're trying to raise funds in any way we can.
Jo, your final thoughts?
Well, I think meeting Aaron and Sam, there's no doubt MS can attack anyone. And so we really do need to raise awareness, we need to be hyper-vigilant about symptoms, but also with the love and support that, Sam, you're showing, then we're going to help Aaron be the father to Jake and the wife to Sam that you want to be, because I know that's your mission.
I want to thank you both for coming on the show today, Aaron and Sam, and good luck with the fundraising. Yeah.
I'm sure we can get many of our Studio 10 family behind you to be buying those $25 T-shirts. We wish you all the very best. And if you'd like some more information and to help out the O'Halloran family, to donate you can head to aaronattacksms.com. And for more information on MS, you can go to the mssociety.org.au. Let's have a bit of a change of pace. Jono, what have you got for us?
Good luck, Aaron.